So we've talked about tariffs, which is just a fancy word for taxes, but let's talk about taxes for us as people. Trump has proposed a wide variety of tax policy changes, but taken together, these proposals would on average lead to a tax cut for the richest 5% of Americans and a tax increase for all other income groups per the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. Okay, so I want to be very, very clear. I want to actually look up the data so I can share it with you. When it comes to taxation, the poorest 20% would likely see a 4.8% increase in their taxes. The second 20% would likely see a 3.5% increase in their taxes. And that covers everybody who makes up to $55,000. The middle 20%, so 55 to 94-ish, you would see a tax increase of 2.1%. The fourth 20%, from 94,000 to 157,000, you would see a 1.4% tax increase. The next 15%, from 157,000 to $360,000, you would see a 0.3% tax increase. But then this is where things start to get interesting. The next 4%, so people who make $360,000 to $914,900 would actually see a 1.3% tax reduction under these policies. And the richest 1%, so people who make $914,900 a year and more, would see a 1.2% reduction. That to me does not make sense when it comes to wanting to basically grow the middle class. We've heard the headlines of a middle class is shrinking year in, year out, but it sounds like things are going to get a lot harder if you have no money, and easier, which you don't need, if you are at the opposite end of the spectrum. And I say that as someone who has their annual income posted online for everybody to see. It's no surprise. I tell you in all my videos, I'm a millionaire. I make 7 figures every year. I am going to get a tax cut, but I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it because, frankly, I don't need the tax cut. It isn't going to change how I live my life. But some of these policies could be the difference between whether or not a family eats. And for me, that is quite frustrating to see. But before we all get up in arms, this is not to say all of Trump's proposals will actually come true. But if some of the main tax changes are implemented, the top 5%, particularly the top 1 and the top 4, we're going to see some large tax cuts, generally leading to that shrinking middle class. And honestly, I almost didn't even talk about taxes in this episode because there isn't too much you can do here. It's really a wait and see. A couple things that you should know. We have a red Senate and a red House and a red executive branch coming. But it's really important to see how this shakes out, as it'll impact how much you get to keep in your pocket versus how much you're coughing up to the government. But unfortunately, there isn't too much you can do about this aside from writing your legislators, making sure that they know what you care about. But we also have to be mindful of where we're spending our dollars, because certain lobbying groups, ultimately high net worth individuals that may benefit from certain industries, are going to lobby a certain way. And they're not going to be the same way that you as a regular person are going to want your incentives aligned. So again, taxes are tough. Just keep an eye out. It's really important that you understand how that works. But before we get to our final talking point of Trump's financial implications, I do want to give a quick breakdown of how taxes work, because it frustrates me to no end when the guy from your high school who took remedial math and, doesn't know anything about money is soapboxing, talking about, don't take that bonus, don't get that raise, don't take that promotion because it's going to bump you into the next tax bracket and then you'll pay more and you won't even make as much for working harder. That's not how that works, okay? Taxes are marginal. And if you still don't understand, I'm going to explain it to you in a way that everybody can. Suddenly, instead of getting paid in dollars, which are all green and all look the same, you are going to get paid in pizzas. And these pizzas come in different varieties. So for the first 11,600 pizzas that you make, you get pesto flavor. And everybody knows that pesto flavor is disgusting. Whether you are Richie Rich or Broke Becky, you are getting paid in pesto pizza. And the government's like, oh, pesto pizza, that's kind of disgusting. We'll just take 10%. You're good. Like, we'll take 10%. It's no problem. But once you start making more than 11,600 pizzas, you level up to the next flavor, mushroom. The government likes mushroom a little bit more than pesto. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll take 12% per pie. Great. At this stage, nobody has gotten any good pizza toppings yet because we all level up at the same levels. These brackets are the same for everybody. Unfortunately, for Broke Becky, she's just getting that. That's it. She doesn't make any more money. She doesn't get any more pizzas. Great. The government's not taking too much from her because she didn't have that much to begin with. But at the next level, at the next bracket, we get sausage. And suddenly the government's like, yum, we love sausage. We want 22% per pie. Great. Next level, pepperoni. Everybody loves pepperoni. They want 24% per pie. That is where a lot of people stop. But if you keep going, Richie Rich, he's going to unlock some incredible flavors. I mean, this guy is making tons of money. He's making tons of pizzas, right? So he's going to unlock flavors like barbecue chicken, buffalo, and even the ultimate pizza flavor, Hawaiian, of course. And the government loves those pies. So they're going to take 32, 35, 37% of each type. That is what marginal means. When you move into a higher tax bracket, you aren't suddenly giving away a bigger slice of every single pizza. You are only giving away a bigger slice of the next incremental flavor. And now I just want you to replace the word pizza with dollars. So now you know that it only taxes higher for incremental dollars, and you will not make the mistake of turning down bonuses, raises, or promotions. Those are always a good thing. You will always make more money. So do not fret. Get your money.